PlayStation is doing it. They're finally killing two of their best consoles ever. PS Plus subs are down, but should we be worried? The PS Plus rebrand is right around the corner, and some of the games we're going to get have started to leak. How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to PS Ready. I brought my friend Ray from Xbox Ready. We're going to talk about 3 of the biggest news stories from the world of PlayStation. Are you excited, Ray? Are you ready?
That's right. I'm excited. I am ready.
Ray, starting out, this is a sad day for me. It looks like the day is finally here when the PS3 and the Vita are just being jettisoned out to sea to be forgotten forever because you can no longer make a PlayStation Network account on either system. They announced that they were basically shutting down the stores for both of these devices. Then they said, all right, we won't do it for now. And then since then, they just basically have been disabling the features one at a time instead of doing it all at once. They're getting to the last few features that they have to shut down. And this really sucks because over on the Xbox side, right? If you buy an Xbox Series X right now, the vast majority of Xbox, Xbox 360, and Xbox One games, you can take your disc that you've had for 20 years, put it in your Xbox Series X, and it just works. PlayStation does not have nearly that robust of a system for playing older games. Like, they're basically abandoning these consoles, right? Like, the PS5 is getting this great update we're going to talk about in a little bit. Whether you're still looking for a PS5 or you just got one, I have links to every accessory you'll need along with the console itself down in the description, where it allows you to play PS1, 2, 3, and PSP games on the device, except for PS3, which is in the cloud. It's a select number of games that completely leaves out the Vita. And then with the PS3, this console that's dying now, you have to play these games over the cloud, which is somehow more of a subpar experience than playing a game on a PS3 in 2022.
If you have a PS3, it seems like that is the best way to play PS3 games because you're getting no support from PS4 up and definitely going forward probably. And in a sort of ironic twist, we do know that the PlayStation Cloud runs on Azure Microsoft Cloud.
Yeah, they have that partnership, which is crazy. Yeah, it's a bummer because I feel like the PlayStation got super big again in the PS4 generation, and so many of the best PlayStation games of all time are on the PS3 generation.
Our greatest fears that, especially one of the biggest criticisms on Xbox right now, especially with the Xbox One generation, where they had that whole DRM kind of always online and people were so mad, and what if there's a future where I can't put my discs that I own now into the future consoles? We're in that future. You couldn't play PS3 games on your PS4. You can't put them into your PS5 and can't play them. Like, all the greatest fears back then have sort of come true in a weird way.
You can emulate PS3 on the Steam Deck. You can play PS3 games on a portable PC, but you cannot play them on your PS5. That is insane. Like, people want to spend money on these games, dude. Like,
they want to make a killing. We know how much money they make by just releasing God of War on the PC 4 years later. Like, can you imagine that they release some of these games now on the PS5 to play natively?
Especially with the first-person shooters like Resistance and Killzone. Like, these games would be so good re-released on the PS5. You could just run a quick cleanup job, increase some textures, fix the lighting up a little bit, get the resolution up, and make sure they run at 60 frames per second. People would re-buy these games. They wouldn't even have to subscribe to a service to play them. It would be awesome. But yep, as of right now, gotta emulate them on PC or dig out your PS3, and hopefully you have a PSN account with a lot of games loaded into it, because you can no longer make one on your actual console. Next up, we got to talk about PS Plus, man, because it's not looking good for Sony. This sucks. We've got this new version of PS Plus. You've got the 3-tiered system: PS Plus Essential,
What is the official name of the whole thing?
PS Plus.
Not the different tiers, but
PS Plus.
That's it?
Yeah.
Just new PS
Really well
Plus.
thought out over at Sony. It's coming out in June. We still don't know what games are coming with this service. It's going to be awesome. People are hyped for it. They've been stacking their subscriptions. If you bought PS Now 1-year subscriptions while you were subscribed to PS Plus, you could keep stacking those for $59.99. And then in June, it will roll over and give you a year of PS Plus Premium.
Hey, that's pretty nice.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to wait and see before I drop all the money on this new extremely expensive service from Sony.
Allegedly, there's supposed to be 700 to 800 games when all is said and done with the backwards compatibility and the do we know what games are gonna? Well, especially I'm most interested in seeing what titles are coming on the backwards compatibility front. What are some of the titles from PlayStation 1 to 3 era being made available on that service? That's what I want to know.
So a few of these games have leaked. We have some PSP games and a couple of the PS1 games. We'll start with the PSP games, and I guess these are PS1 games too. They're pretty good. Siphon Filter. You ever played this?
I have not. No,
Okay.
I did not play.
It's older. It was big on PS1. It had its best games on PSP, I want to say. It was made by Ben Studio, my favorite PlayStation studio that gets no love. They're the guys who made Days Gone, which came out very rough shape.
Yeah,
ended
rough
up being a great game when it got its PS5 patch, and then later on its amazing PC port. They got their start with Siphon Filter. Siphon Filter is kind of like it's like a more actiony Metal Gear. It's actually tied into the Days Gone universe, which is kind of cool. The PSP ones were great. Those have been rated in a different country. I'm pretty sure it was Korea. That basically tells us those games are going to be included, the PS1 games and the PSP games, which is great. These games that we're also getting on the PS Plus revamp are Tekken 2 and Ridge Racer 2.
All of these games, correct me if I'm wrong, they're only going to be available on the cloud. Is that right?
No,
or
Sony with their great marketing. This is how I'll break it down for you. So if you subscribe to PlayStation Plus Premium, you get the PS1 games downloadable to your PS5, the PS2 games downloadable to your PS5, the PSP games downloadable to your PS5.
I'm with you.
The games everyone wants, the PS3 games.
Cloud.
It's killing me inside. And then the other issue I have with this is that if you bought these games before previously, like on your PlayStation account, on your PlayStation Vita, your PS3, where you've been able to buy PS1 and PSP classics for years, it looks like you're still going to have to subscribe to the service to access those. And that sucks.
That's
because
tough.
I don't know, I bought a lot of PSP games digitally to play on my Vita. I was a big Peace Walker fan, played a lot of Resistance Retribution, played a lot of Killzone Liberation. All of these games were so good on the Vita, so I bought them. And I bought them digitally on the PSP as well. And now I'm going to have to subscribe to a service to access them, it seems like.
Right, and that's such a sensitive topic right now, especially with Xbox. They just had an outage that's brought up a lot of discussion about DRM, digital rights management, game ownership, and so that's disappointed to hear as a PlayStation fan, especially a longtime PlayStation fan, for those of y'all out there who have been stockpiling all your games, all everything, hoping that one day in the future you'll be able to play them on the shiny new PlayStation 5. That's a blow.
I think Sony's been recently talking about this, where they're like, if we did day one releases, we'd have to dilute our games. I agree with that standpoint, because you got to recoup that development cost somehow. That's where you start seeing microtransactions. That's where you start seeing games that need to be patched. Sony's got their live service stuff coming. I'd like to wait as long as possible before we delve into that world, because Sony's really good right now at making really awesome single player open world third person action games, and that's going to be a good era that we look back on.
That is true.
When
I will agree with that.
When the era starts, I feel.
Well, from a shareholder's perspective, and if you're like an exec at Sony, the merging makes sense, because PS Now, the numbers were whatever.
Yep.
PlayStation Plus, it was their golden child.
Yep.
So now combined, I can imagine that looks a lot more appealing as a business to say, hey, look at all of these numbers, essentially.
Yeah, it's a numbers game for sure.
But so are you thinking that this loss of subscribers for PlayStation Plus that we're seeing right now, up to 600,000 is what I read, how much of it do you think has to do with this revamping of PlayStation Plus?
I want to know if it's actually because of that thing that PlayStation ended up having to do, because Xbox ended up having to do, where they can't let your subscriptions auto-renew anymore. I don't know if or when this actually kicked into gear, but I could totally see that being the case.
That is an interesting take, because that's just hilarious thinking, there was 600,000 dead accounts that
I don't want to make light of it. That is a pretty big drop off.
But that's it, because Netflix, they lost 200,000 subscribers, and that was in the headlines. Oh my gosh, Netflix, they're in trouble. This, I don't think so. I don't think Sony is really going anywhere because of the dip in PS Plus subscribers, but it is interesting to think, I would imagine they'd lose a couple of subs as they transfer over to these new systems, but that much, that's a little surprising to me, I gotta say.
The only thing I can think of is the past few months of PS Plus offerings have been pretty lackluster. Like, we've had a few standouts for sure.
You don't like Babylon's Fall, bro?
Yeah, no, Babylon's Fall is a mess. And then we got Godfall's Challenger Edition. They gave us the Tiny Tina's Wonderlands DLC from Borderlands 2 as like
9
a
years ago.
prepackaged game. We got Mortal Kombat X with none of the DLC. Like there have been a lot of like misses lately on the PS Plus monthly games. So I can kind of see people sitting there like, well, the price of PS Plus is going up and I haven't gotten really that many good games. Like I haven't been seeing the value. Maybe I'll cancel the subscription for now, see what games I'm getting with this huge library and when the new PS Plus launches, and then reevaluate. I could see that being at least a medium chunk of these people. Then you mix in the people who forgot they were paying for PS Plus. You can kind of see where it's all shaken out, right?
Well, obviously you need PS Plus to play games online. And do you think that's not necessarily a big enough draw to keep people onto the service?
Yeah, because as far as I'm aware, right, like with the biggest online game right now, Fortnite, I don't think
free.
you need PS Plus to
free.
even access that game. And there's a few bigger games on the PlayStation Network that you don't need PS Plus to like access them. And also, I've dinged Sony for this before in the past. The sales you would get on PS4 were so much better than you get now on PS5. You would get an extra discount for having PS Plus, and games would go on sale for $30. If you had PS Plus, they go down to like 20 sometimes, which is a good discount. It hasn't been that good on PS5.
No.
So I don't know if that is the reason. Like if people are upset to the point where they're canceling their subscription, that's going to hit Sony where it counts, and they're going to have to like reevaluate the pricing scheme here, which I think is good because $120 a year for PS Plus Premium, it's a lot of money.
Well, it is nice that you do have the option to buy it outright for sure.
Yeah.
Over
Can you do
on
that with Game Pass?
No, with Game Pass you cannot buy yearly.
$15 a month, just
$15 a month. You can buy physical cards still.
Oh, okay.
Like if you go into a retail shop, you can buy 3 months Game Pass, 3 months PC Game Pass. Those are options, but I haven't seen a full year out. So that I appreciate over on the PlayStation side the fact that you do have the option to pay for it outright. You save a little bit of money versus on Xbox it's monthly or nothing, or you use your Microsoft rewards. But it is interesting to see we're close to when the service is going live, right? It's launching in June.
Yes,
and I
June
feel
13th.
as though we don't really know too much about the specifics. That we only have a few leaked games that you mentioned, but other than that, it's hard from a consumer standpoint to say, hey, is this going to be worth my money when I don't even know the full breadth of the offering?
So if you have a PS5 and you're looking for stuff to play and you miss something like Returnal or Miles Morales or some of these earlier PS5 games, I think it's actually worth at least picking up a couple months of PS Plus Premium, because we do know you're getting Returnal, you're getting Miles Morales. I'm 99% sure you're getting Demon Souls. That's 3 next-gen exclusive games, which are still kind of high in price because Sony hasn't put a lot of them on sale. Yeah, and there's still no word if they are getting rid of the PlayStation Plus collection. So right now, if you buy a PS5, you get this incredible collection of games that, since the PS5 launched, has only lost one game, and it's Persona 5, which was the one game people were like, don't play that version of it, go buy Royal. Like, that's the better version of Persona 5. There's no word, as far as I'm aware, on if that's going away or not. So, yeah, I don't know. They got to really do some legwork here to justify this cost, because like you mentioned, we're a couple weeks out from this launch and we don't know this library of games that's coming along with it. Now, they've reassured us. They've said, yeah, all the heavy hitters are going to be there. I'll believe it when I see it, because I don't think we're going to see a lot of games that we're probably expecting. I think it's going to be gradual that we start getting bigger and bigger games.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not going to see Horizon Forbidden West.
No, for sure. I mean, Miles Morales, I did hear that was going to be on the service in some capacity. And that's a $50 game.
Demon Souls is the big one.
Old.
I think if you just finished Elden Ring and you're looking for something new to play, you can play the remake of the original Souls game, the first of them all. That's a really good game. I think you'll start to see more people subscribing to it when games like Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, eventually God of War Ragnarok, a year out, when those start showing up, then the value proposition starts to be there. But out of the gate, Sony's going to have some major game. I think it is time to kind of revamp that collection of games and just fold it in to PlayStation Plus, because you need PS Plus to get the PS Plus collection regardless. I mean, either way, they're expanding the library of games that you're getting included with PS Plus, which means you're going to need a lot of SSD space on your PS5, which we all know only has 680 gigabytes of usable storage. Boo! We've got a ton of bigger SSDs linked in the description, and a lot of them are on sale.